Hi guys, Squill here. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. In this one we're going to carry on with the little trip that we're doing, the bush trip across the Balkans. If you remember in the first episode we did this leg here, the first one, where we went from Rijeka, which was the starting airfield, and we landed in a farmer's field at Otocac or something. In the next one that was a 44 nautical mile leg, by the way. In the next one, we're going to take off out of Otocac, and we're going to head to Zemunik. And that's going to take 57, almost 58 nautical miles, take almost half an hour to do. So I presume, given that when you click on this, that was the airfield that we landed at, I presume that means that the airfield we're going to land at, this one, is going to be a beautiful tarmac runway next to some water. So that's Zemunik, I think. So anyway, let's jump in the aircraft and we'll figure this out. Okay, I've spawned in. Well, we've spawned at the airfield, and I've just set up the system a little bit. What I've done is I've reset the baro to the local pressure, which is apparently 2,992. Who knew? And the local altitude is 1,500 feet. So I've set our autopilot altitude to be 3,500 feet. So that should give us 2,000 AGL. And I've had a quick look at the Navlog here, and noted the first step here. It says on a heading of 140, which is approximately southeast. It says, once in the air above Otocac, continue southeast along State Road D50. You'll pass back over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road. Follow the southern branch as the road paths into the hills and past an expansive mining operation. So what it wants us to do is basically start the clock, if you like, when we're overhead. So I'm going to take off in a northwesterly direction here, and I've set the heading bug to 140. So we'll climb and turn, come back overhead, and when we get overhead we'll start the clock, and we've got about a 2.5 minute run to do before we get to the next waypoint. And it says, you'll soon cross paths with the A1 motorway again. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village of Konskobrdo. I don't know how you say this. I'm not from Balkan. 157 will be the heading, and that will be a slightly longer leg. Also, you can have the VFR map up. As some of you guys note in the comments, you just can't click back on track. That will lose your points. So you can have this up as well as having the sat nav up here. I mean, I don't know what the benefit is in having that if you've got that, but then in other ones, when we don't have a Garmin in the other bush trips, then I suppose that's beneficial, right? What was I going to say? So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Haven't checked the situation on the flaps. Okay, flaps are not deployed. And also some of you guys commented that the fuel does actually burn down and it doesn't refuel you at any point, so you need to map a button to repair and refuel. So what I'll probably do is when we get to the next airfield, I'll figure that out and refuel us. I can't believe Microsoft made these things and then didn't, give you a way of refueling. That seems bizarre to me. Anyway, so let's get going, because we've got a 30-minute flight ahead of us, assuming we don't get lost, which I'm sure we will. So let's the parking brake can get released. Barely see the runway markers there, blimey. Alright, airspeed's building. So we're going to rotate to 60, climb out at about 80 if we can. And there's 60. Pitch the nose down slightly. I'm just going to keep this direction going and let the climb happen. Flight director's actually pointing us to a 5-degree climb, which is I don't know if that's correct or not. Let me just let it pitch down a little bit. We should be looking at 79, 80 knots or so. But yeah, we'll get some altitude up, and then we'll turn around, get ready for the so we've got a timer thing here. We don't need that quite so high. Yeah, I know that. Stop telling me. I know. Go away. Why does it keep telling me this? Okay, I think that should be adequate, so let's turn around. Hopefully we'll be able to spot the actual airfield. There's all the fields. And it should be about here-ish. It's amazing how difficult it is to spot when you're up here. Okay, let's get the nose back down. So we're more or less, you can see from the Garmin that we're more or less, there's the airfield there, right there. And then we want a track of 140. Like that. Lovely time of day to be doing this though, blimey. And you can see the GPS lines coming in, but it did say 140, which is what the heading bug's turned onto. So I'm guessing I'm pretty much guessing it's down there, to be honest. Right, we'll engage the autopilot, which will... Okay, AP's engaged. 140 is the heading. And we will start the timer now. Okay, timer started. And it says, once in the air, continue southeast along the D50. You'll pass back over the Gaka River before reaching a fork in the road. Okay. There's the river. So, oh yes. Okay, it cuts back over here. Which is correct. Let's try sitting up a little bit. That's better. Follow the southern branch as the road pats into the hills and past an expansive mining operation. I mean, there's a significant road here. It looks a bit wonky, doesn't it? Look at the way it kind of rolls on those curves. There's a significant road going on here. Coming up on our altitude. We're looking for 2 minutes 29, then we'll be turning on to heading on 157. It's very nice around here, but imagine living in these valleys though. Right, I bet you get some like proper sinking fog in the winter. State Road D50, which I assume is what this is. You'll pass back over the Gaka River, which we've just about to do because the river's here. Actually, you can see the river on the Garmin as well. But reaching a fork in the road. Is it saying that this is going to fork? Unless it means this state road, I don't know, to be honest. And the problem is there's nothing shown on the map in terms of road signs, so it's impossible to know. I'm just going to bring the RPMs back to a cruise now. We was going a little bit quick, so we may hit that timer before we think we should. According to the GPS system, we're slightly off track. And our next heading should be 157. But I'm struggling to see a fork in the road, if I'm honest with you. 2 minutes 29, although we were climbing, so we might be a bit slower. There's some like road network going on here, I can see. Maybe this is the fork in the road it's referring to. Okay, let's I do see a set of roads going crazy here, so why don't we assume that that's now the turn, and we'll do a 157 heading. keyboard trouble here, trying to click this while it's moving. There you go, 157. So we keep following that, and we'll start the timer. It says you will soon cross paths with the A1 motorway again. Okay, so that's the right. Okay, so that's the A1 motorway. That's fine. That makes sense. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance south near the village of Konskebrodu. I figure if I say things in a strange accent, I'll sound like I'm from the area, right? So yeah, it's like Konskebrodu. Because I have no idea how to say this word. 3 minutes and 16 we're looking for on the timer. Do we see any kind of village? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Now, the kind of sat-nav is agreeing with us in some respects. Actually, I know what you should have done. Should have put the wind on here. Aha! Interesting. So, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to make a slight course correction. Because the wind has been blowing us right to left all along, which would also explain why the GPS thing is off. You soon cross paths with the A1 motorway again. Follow the highway to an interchange a short distance to the south. So, we're looking for an interchange near the village. And then after that, we'll be looking for a 171 bearing. As you follow the road to the south, it'll begin to curve. Okay, alright, so looking for an interchange, that's what we're looking for. Let's have a look at the scenery. I think they should have done this, perhaps in like like made the ground a bit frosty. I think it would look amazing if they'd have made it a bit of a winter frosty scenario. Okay, so we're on GPS track. I'm gonna just change it by a few degrees back again. What I'm essentially hoping to do is compensate for the wind. Yeah, I can see we're slightly right of where we should be, but it's fine. Right, so what we've got, 2 minutes and 36, so we're looking for an... Is that it? That looks like an interchange. Don't really see much of a town, but that's definitely an interchange of some description. So we'll assume that that's it. Coming up on 3 minutes 16, that seems a little bit... I don't know, maybe I'm cruising a bit slower than it thinks. We're not going to get there at 3:16, that's for sure. So anyway, once we get there, our new heading will be 171 degrees. It says as you follow the road south, it will begin to curve and bend towards the east, which means it will go to our left, unless that's the curve. Not really sure, to be honest. Okay, let's reset the timer. Let's go on a heading of 171. Which is more or less straight into wind. And reset that. We'll start that timer again. Okay, the GPS definitely moved, so that's good news. Unless that's the village. That must be the village. Okay, as you follow the road to the south, it begins to curve and bend towards the east. Let it take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadana River. Okay, we should. There's a river. Scroll this down a little bit. Kind of want that to be at the top at all times. It's a pity you can't... I suppose you can collapse these, can't you? Oh, there you go. We can do that. That'll help. That way I'm not seeing information that's not relevant. Okay, so we're more or less on track, 42 seconds, 3 minutes 45. As you follow the road to the south, this road, it will begin to curve and bend towards the east. What does it mean, this road? And it'll take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadova River, then further southeast. Oh, I see. Look, there you see the road now. There it goes. It's turning to the east. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, there. So they're talking about this bit here on the road, which is that curve there. Lovely. So far, so good. I tell you what, when you're in a real plane and you fly along a motorway like this and you see all the cars, it's fantastic. But when you're around London and you fly along the M25 and you see like a massive traffic jam and you're just flying past going, hey, it feels amazing. Unfortunately, there's no cars on this road. I don't know why. Okay, so after this, we're going to be looking at a heading of 121. So we're going to turn back to the east very much. After a short trip while following the road, you find yourself passing over a rest stop. Carry on heading southeast. The only thing I'm worried about right now is the river. There's the river on our right, which is about here. Now we're definitely on GPS track. And it says it'll take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadova River. So can we... Oh, does it mean that bridge? Must be on about this road then. That's definitely... Unless... Oh, does it mean that one? Ah, it must mean that. Yeah, okay. Begin to curve and bend towards the east, let it take you past a forest to a bridge over the Jadova River. Yes. I think we're okay at the moment. I'm a bit worried about these timings though. I've put a bit more throttle in. I feel like we're not getting to these timings properly. What I might do is lean the mixture a little bit. There we go. I think we're running a bit rich, that's the problem. Yeah, that would explain it. We'll stay on the high side of the green arc and the RPMs. Engine sounds a bit better now. So I'm thinking when we get to this point here, let it take you past the forest to a bridge, then farther southeast. I'm thinking when we get here, we turn on 121 and start the timer. That's the plan. What an amazing valley this is, blimey. According to that sat-nav, we're not quite at the bridge yet. I'll reset that timer because it's kind of irrelevant now. After a short while following the road, you find yourself passing over a rest stop. Okay, so where this road is now, we will turn on, we'll start the timer and turn on a heading of 121. Hopefully. Now we have got a wind blowing right to left, so I'm gonna dial a few degrees in just to compensate for that wind, because it is a 7-knot crosswind now. So I'm gonna go 131. I'm gonna bracket this and try and figure out what kind of compensation we need. That's 10 degrees at the moment. Let's get rid of that. After a short trip from the road, you find yourself passing over a rest stop. At Odmirist. Carry on heading southeast. Let's bring that back in touch. Right, that's a 5 degree. Let's see if 5 degrees stabilises for us. Well, there's the road. I don't see a rest stop, if I'm honest. This is a 4-minute leg, so it might be further down here. I tell you what, it's gorgeous around here. Look at it. So scenic. Oh, there are. Oh, wait. I take it back. There are cars on the road. They're just extremely small. But they are there. Look. Well, they do keep disappearing. Yeah, they're only on small sections of it. Interestingly. But then I'm not running on Ultra, so maybe you need to be on Ultra to see all the cars. I need a 3090 Ti card, guys. I'm sure you saw the NVIDIA announcement. Right, we're on track, so that 5-degree compensation for the wind is perfect. 4 minutes, we're 2.5 minutes in. Unless that may be a rest stop, you'll find yourself passing over a rest stop. Carry on heading southeast. So after this, we're going to be turning on a heading of 158. And then it says start gaining altitude as you continue along the road. You'll come to pass 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears into the Sveti Rock Tunnel, surrounded by dense forestry atop the Velebit Mountains. Adjust and turn southwest before heading up and over the mountainside. Oh my god, so we're going to be going over this. If you look at this. Maybe we should take the opportunity now to, I don't know, say add another 1,000 feet. Get some of the climbing out the way. That's what I'm thinking. Make a slight course correction. Full throttle. Okay, 4 minutes. Yeah, that's definitely a rest area right there. Okay, so once we reach that rest area, we shall start the next section, which is a fight. I tell you what, though, these times are aggressive. I'm definitely not getting there as quickly as they think I should be getting there. So we want a 158 heading, which, given a bit of wind, might be more like a 161, we'll say. But we're going to essentially follow the road. I think I can see. Oh no, that's not where it goes in the mountain. I think it's going to go in the mountain somewhere here, maybe there. And then at that point we're climbing over those mountains. Blimey. That could get interesting. Okay, let's do this. So we'll make it 161. Slightly, track is slightly to our left, but I think it should be okay. And we'll start the timer. So we'll turn it back. It looks like that line's, we need to catch that line back up. I'm pretty certain we're heading for this though, if I'm honest. Beautiful. You know, it's one thing that about the Cessna aircraft, the high wings anyway, is that they do give you a lot of free sun visor. Like right now, if you was in a low wing, the sun would be beating on your face. But in a high wing, it basically obliterates. You get a lot of sunshade essentially. The downside is when you're turning, like if you turn left, you can't see what you're turning into. That is the downside of the high wing. Right, start getting altitude along the road. Okay, I don't know what altitude we need, but those hills look pretty high. So let's go for 6,500 feet. B speed, 500 climb, the mixture a touch. Because if it wants us to turn on a 237, that's basically into that mountain range. And I don't know how high that is, but I can tell you we're not higher than it right now. Let's try and get back on track. So see if we can spot. The problem is when you're climbing, the nose comes right up and you can't actually see what's going on, but you know, it might well actually I think we may be crossing over the hills here, not here. I don't think it's going to take us over here. I think it's going to take us possibly about there. Because we've got a 5-minute run, so we've got another 3 minutes in that direction, and I think over here is where we're going. We shall see. There's so many little like meandering rivers going all through this area. It must be a very wet area. I reckon it rains quite a bit here. Then all the water kind of drains down into the valley, and that's why these rivers just constantly flow. That would make sense. Bang on track right now, and I think we've got enough altitude for that hill there. So we're kind of where we want to be. Because we're climbing, it will take longer to get there, but I'm guessing that time was accommodated for that. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this bit. It says you come to 2 highway interchanges before the road disappears into the Sveti tunnel. So I'm looking for the point where the road goes into tunnel. I think it's about there. I actually think we're easily high enough. It's going to bring it to 6,000. I think that'll be more than enough. That train line there looks straight enough to be a train line. I'm coming up on 6k. Pretty certain the road is going to disappear somewhere here. And we are going to be heading to the right. Over that hill. We definitely have enough altitude now. Minutes. New track will be 237, which is going to be in that direction. It says once you've crested the Velebit Peak, find the road again as it leads toward a bridge over the strait. So we can see the road here, so we've got to pick it up on the other side of the peak, somewhere here probably. It leads towards a bridge. I'm guessing that's the bridge where the water is. Turn slightly because we're losing that track a little bit. That's 4 minutes 38. That's where the road disappears. We are pretty much bang on profile as described. Bring the RPMs back a touch. So I'm going to collapse that now. Consider that one done. Reset that timer. And then once we get over the top of this thing, grab my drone camera for a second. No, the drone camera's dead. Okay, I think we are right there. So we're going to turn on to our new heading of 237. Okay, that just somehow got pressed. 237 will put us at a wind on the left now. Start that timer. So we've got a crosswind coming in from the left. That's okay, it'll push us back onto profile. Let's just turn to the right, make sure. Okay, so what does it say? Once you cross the Velebit Peak, find the road again as it leads towards a bridge over the strait. So according to the sat-nav, the road should come out. It's literally going through this thing right now. That could be it. But I'm not 100% convinced. I think this is the bridge it's talking about on the... Yeah, that would make sense. There's the body of water there. And then where that crosses, where it goes in, it would make sense if that was the crossing it's talking about. 3-minute 45 run, so I think we're okay. Crikey, this just got absolutely amazing. Look at this. Look at that. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm just going to turn back on heading now because it was meant to be 237. We're now bang on 237, but we have a bit of a left wind coming in. Get a bit of turbulence here. Make it 234 and see how we get on. Okay, I'm going to collapse that because I'm pretty certain, actually. Yeah, once we get to the bridge, we're then looking for a heading of 217. That's going to take us to the airport, so LD, there you go, Zulu Delta is right there. And we can even see the runway itself, so we are good. We are good. Let's collapse that and enjoy some of the scenery for a second. Oh, it's just got better, hasn't it? Look. Like, a lot of those, on this side of the hill, like, a lot of those trees are not there, and it's just spectacular. Yeah, there's the road coming out there, see it? And it bends around. The tree bends around and goes over that bridge somewhere. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there it is. So the airfield is over here somewhere. Great stuff. Right, what time are we on? So that was meant to be a 3-minute 45 track. I think we're going to be passing over just about on time. Look at that. I think what I'll do is I'll descend though, because I don't think we need to be this high anymore. And if we are about to come in to land, we do want to be losing some altitude here. So I'm going to go down another 3,000 feet. So we'll go free speed. Just get descent going on, or back off on the throttle. Try and keep about 100 knots so we don't get ahead of our profile. Actually, I mean, looking at that, that's probably near ground level, like sea level. So I think possibly 2,000 feet would be a better thing to do. Right, we'll reset that. We'll turn onto a heading of 217 now. Wunderbar. Just turn a couple of degrees to the left. Compensate for the wind. Pretty certain that is the airfield. We'll start the timer anyway, but does it tell us to land on a particular runway? From the bridge, the road will lead southwest along the shore of Novigradsko. Continue further inland, you break away from the road towards an airport in the distance, Zonakna Luka Zadar, also your next stopping point. So I can see, depends if this is north-south oriented, I can see a roughly north-south and an east-west runway. There. I think we're going to go into that one. I think that is this one. Possibly. I do hope that's a runway. It kind of looks like one. I'm going to descend a little bit quicker. See if we can get any information from this thing. Yeah, you can see it. There's the main runway, and then there's like an NDB, and I think there's a runway here. We'll get all the way down to 1,000. That'll be pretty much pattern altitude, I think. Looks like standard pressure all the way. So this is all like farmland, by the look of it. We're going to have to descend a lot quicker than this, I think. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. Like pretty much bang on profile, which is great. I'm just going to slow down and descend a bit quicker. Let's go 1200. Let's get rid of some of this altitude. Lovely, absolutely lovely scenery. They picked a really good place to come and do this. Some of you guys have commented that the other bush trips are equally as scenic, and I think you mentioned in one of them there's like no glass at all, it's just pure VFR. Look forward to that. Did feel a little bit cheating having glass, but it's been fun nevertheless. And quite honestly, they take me to places that I would never go, like I would just never come here. I'm just going to do a back off on the throttle and just do a full glide. I think we're above profile. I think this is the road here, look. Yeah, it is. So the road just carries on and comes back that way. You know, for VFR pilots, that kind of road is just easy mode, if you follow that. What's that timer saying? 3 minutes 32. We're not going to be a million miles away. And send to the left here and try and get a better approach angle. So as we come back down, I'm going to bring the mixture back up to 100% because we're more or less at sea level. And if we have to go around, we want maximum power. Great stuff. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to figure out how to refuel before we begin the next one because, well, we're not low on fuel, we're 2/3 on fuel, but even so I'd rather get refuel sooner rather than later. Right, we'll turn off the autopilot. At this rate, we're going to be gliding in with no flaps. Okay, let's get the nose up a little bit now. First stage of flaps coming in. Nice. There's your second stage. Yep, that's good. And there's 30 degrees. You can see the approach lighting underneath coming across for the main runway. I hope it allows us to land on this runway. It should do. Got a very slight wind from the left, but no biggie. I assume as we land on the ground it'll just detect. I think that's what happened last time. It just detected it. Runway 22, looking good. And we're down. Right, I'm just going to stop here and see if it triggers it. I don't know if it will or not. There we go. Beautiful. Nice. Congratulations, leg completed. That was a good one. What does it say? LDRO to LDZD, 35 minutes daytime. That kind of, I wonder if that implies you're going to get nighttime stuff at some point. Who knows? Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed that little leg, guys. I did. I thought it was a beautiful little run. And until the next time, take care. Happy flying.